And Assalamu alaikum, welcome back. Welcome back to our afternoon session. And I would like to welcome Nafisa Inayatullah Khan Khattak. She is member National Assembly, and she would like to. She actually offered to participate in a live session, and she would like to talk about the personal instances of deriving happiness being a parliamentarian and as a woman politician. And she would also talk about the importance of happiness in the life of a politician who has to work in a highly diverse and challenging political environment, especially on gender perspective also. Welcome, Nafisa Inayatullah, and it's your turn to speak now, please.
Thank you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim and Assalamu alaikum to all. I'm Nafisa Inayatullah Khattak. I'm from the government benches and this is my second term in the parliament. First of all, I would like to congratulate Pakistan Association of Lifestyle Medicine and Riphah Institute of Lifestyle Medicine, Riphah University, on arranging this International Happiness Summit in Pakistan, which is perhaps the first event of its kind ever held on this novel topic in Pakistan. I, being a politician, politicians are very, if they are genuine, are very hard workers, and they have a lot of stress in their life. For me, personally, as a person, I'm more of a philanthropist than a politician. But I joined politics when my leader, Imran Khan, asked me to come to meet him, and he offered me to join politics, giving me the excuse that doing welfare in a city is much different than doing a welfare for the whole of the country. So that sentence changed my life, and I joined politics. I thought I would give it a try. If I didn't like it, I would quit back, come to my natural life where I was working in government organizations like orphanages, old home, crisis center, empowering center, women for women and children. So I was doing all this. Then 2005 earthquake came. I opened an paraplegic post-operation care institute where we were looking after the paraplegic effectees of the earthquake. After that, IDP thing came up. People from Swat were all eloping from Swat and coming down, streaming towards Islamabad and Peshawar. There I opened another camp for them where I hosted them, and I took care of people who were coming in Islamabad. That was like as being a housewife. That's where my leader found out about me. He came to know and he asked me to join. And when he gave me the opportunity for coming into politics and affecting more people's life than just a city, I picked up the opportunity. So now, in the parliament, what I do is I work on welfare. At the moment, I'm working on street children. I've done a very short course on human trafficking, bonded labor, debt labor, and I'm also working for women empowerment. And I'm a member of SDG. I'm a member of Women Caucus, and we are working to empower people. I'm also a member of Education Committee, where my aim is to bring in basic education. Because Islamabad is Pakistan is a third world country, and we need to promote education and bring the children back into education. So that's one more thing that I'm very interested and I'm working in. I'm doing a lot of legislation. All these things that I'm doing is, these things give me satisfaction. In this stress life, when you have to work a lot and you have so much to do, that you forget your family, your personal life, everything is now become secondary because of what we are seeing and what we need to counter and bring peace in people's life, prosperity and security. So these things give me a lot of satisfaction, and they motivate me to do more and more. Then my family gives me peace. when I'm tired, come back in the evenings, because a politician has no working hours, has no holiday. We have to work for the party and we have to work in the government. And the satisfaction of working a lot gives me satisfaction a lot, because I feel that the pay I'm receiving, I'm justifying it. So these are the things that really help me. And for me, how I came towards this life from being a housewife was when I lost my loved ones, my husband, about 25 years back. I tried to understand my religion. Why was he gone? Where did he go? That question brought me towards religion. I studied in a university, Al Huda, for 3 years. I understood my religion. I came to know why difficulties come in life, and instead of picking up those are the ways, that's a way of for God to teach us how to tackle difficulties. And if you take it in a positive way, you become very strong and you strengthen and you start understanding nature. And this strength then gave me, then because I was married very young, I took education in Allama Iqbal Open University. I still continued my education. That also gave me a lot of strength. And having that strength and seeing people with whom I've been interacting, whom I've been trying to help, counseling people in marriages and in issues with children, all these things taught me a lot. And now knowing the issues of the general public, knowing created by humans or created by or sent by God, the way we teach them how to tackle them from our experiences and from what we've learned really gives me satisfaction. I've got hypertension in my family. All my family members, my sisters, they all are on blood pressure medicines. I'm the only one who's safe till now. And that is because of the satisfaction I feel when I come home and I lie down on bed and think of what I did the whole day. I have a very peaceful sleep. I don't need medicines. I don't need relaxants. I am a person who has no blood pressure, no, I don't have hepatitis, or I don't have sugar level or anything. I'm a very healthy person. And what I do is I try to get peace out by helping people. And that is my motto. And the being in the parliament, the legislations I do, which help people, for the women, for the children, and for transgenders. I met transgenders, I interviewed them, I saw the misery. They are something inside spiritually, and the world asks them to pretend to be a male or a female. So all the misery and the whatever I'm doing for them in the parliament is giving me satisfaction. And I'm a person with learning all this. What is now worldly things have become very secondary for me. I was a person who was very fond of clothes. Now I'm least bothered about my looks, about my clothes. My motto is to give peace. I think and I pray to God, God, pick me up as your angel and make me do things which will please you, and which will then force you to give me, send me to heaven without asking me a question. What have you done in the world? So that's my life. Thank you.
Ma'am, please unmute your mic.
I'm sorry. Thank you very much for sharing your experiences. You have actually spoken the science which I have been discussing in the morning. And there is an aspect of volunteerism in science, and it has been proven scientifically that people who volunteer, they are being protected or prevented or saved from the upcoming chronic diseases. So you are, mashallah, blessed. God help you more. God bless you with more energy and stamina to carry on whatever you are doing. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, our so you had a different aspect of a role model of lifestyle medicine, and she is blessed to be a person who is being chosen to serve humanity. And look how she has connected her social work, her social connections, and her voluntary work to the level of health she is enjoying. Amazing. So now we are going to see a video of Fatma Shafiq. She is a student of National Defense University, Islamabad. She is a social worker and an activist, and she represents her students' societies also. She would like to share the economic, social, psychological, and emotional sources of stress in the life of a student in a developing country like Pakistan, where students belonging to different classes enter the campus, and how their worries have been aggravated by the pandemic. The need to realize the significance of happiness in the life of a college student, and and then she'll be sharing her own means of deriving genuine and positive happiness. Fatma Shafiq, please.
Hi, my name is Fatma Shafiq, and I'm a student at university. And so being representing some I would just like to thanks to Pakistan Association of Life and Riphah Institute of Lifestyle Medicine, Riphah University, on providing me a chance to share my ideas on happiness in this International Happiness Summit. So I would express my views on this significant topic by sharing first two main questions which basically comes to my mind when I think about the happiness of a student. How do students define the word happiness, and how do they get happy, and what are the happiness way of a holistic student? So first question which I want to discuss is the what is an idea and opinion of happiness in the mind of a student. And second question is how this emotional quality is relevant to the success of a student. So before answering these two questions, we first need to understand these two processes and these two contexts. So the first context that already exists in a student to make them happy and contented, that is happiness background, which includes the parenting style of our parents. And second factor is that contributes to the happiness of a student is on campus, which includes the teaching style of their teachers. So in happiness background, the thing which is very basic is that family is the most influential one. Means for improving adolescent happiness of a student, parents should be better cooperative with their schools, with their teachers, and they should try their best to give children more pleasure of life and happiness of learning environment, and to make a concerted effort to build up children's health. And so that they can improve their IQ and EQ levels, and so that they can strengthen their children's wealth. So that is possible only by providing them an ideal parenting style. So the bad thing is that 80% students do not get a family background, which is very essential for them. So for them, for their mental growth and for their emotional well-being and their contentment. So among rich families, parents mostly ignore their children, and they grow up under the care of caretakers and their mobile phones, games, and whereas in poor families, children are deprived of family time and as well as financial pressures, where father and mother have adverse relationship due to financial pressures and other reasons. So in both cases, emotional growth and well-being is basically obstructed, very badly affected. So here I would especially like to quote my own example. Like at the age of 18, I got married and I had to leave my studies because in middle class families, the most thing which is important for them is that they considered early marriages, especially of a child girl. They consider it as their more achievement, and more progress. So I had to compromise because just for my parents, but I never stopped taking care of my health. I never stopped taking care of my studies. So because health and happiness is the most these are the priceless things which we can get from nature without any cost, without any and without anything we can get it. So similarly, our students are suffering from many mental bad mental health, which is just because of the bad food they eat, that food they eat. And I observed in my university that students just love to eat junk food, which is made up of dead oils and white flour, white sugar. So they just eagerly love to eat that food. So when I studied the book of Dr. Shagufta Feroz, the name is Living as Nature Intended. So so she has written in her book that healthy fats which we get from organic butter or organic ghee are very much important for our endocrine hormones, endocrine dopamine. So these are very important for our emotional and mental health, and that factor is basically missing in our food. We eat dead oils, we eat dead ingredients, which we eat in the dead food, junk food. So there are many factors which I'm gonna talk about, and I have so many things in my mind, but I can't share all of these right now because I have to take care of the time. So last important thing that when we talk about the campus factors that affecting the students, so students' well-being, their mental health, we are at the worst affected by teachers and their teaching styles, because there is a lack of career counseling, and there is a too much emphasis on career oriented education, because a student's character and emotional growth is not a part of our curriculum, because not a part of their curriculum, and we are forced to become an earning component of a capitalist society. So our success is only counted with high grades, high CGPAs, high marks. So surrounded by these so many external and internal adverse factors, the chances of our happiness are very minimal. So as a consequence of most students can never become a holistic student. So these are the reasons, these are the main reasons which I'm discussing. So here I would like to quote one thing which Aristotle said, that happiness is the meaning and the purpose of a life, purpose of the life and the whole aim and end of a human existence. But in such circumstances which I'm talking about, our students are deprived of these blessings in our lives. Students have to rely on artificial modes like they remain in touch on the social media and their bad companies and so many things. So I don't believe that students deliberately fall in prey to such artificial modes and these artificial modes of happiness, because there is always something lacking in their brought up, in their parenting style or in their teaching styles. So that was all about the problems which students mostly face. So let's come to the pandemic. So pandemic has badly affected the global economic system, as well as I have learned so many lessons that has also affected our lives on the micro level and at the macro level. So I have learned many lessons from this pandemic, from the COVID-19, but the most important of all of them is that the realization of the survival of the friendliest rather than the survival for the fittest. So the world needs peaceful and healthy people to survive better on the Right. So, last but not the least, I would assert that state is a mean to attain an end, and the end is the welfare of a people. So, no welfare can actually take place until unless the people of a country are mentally and emotionally happy and contented with their lives. So, I would request the global students community to take a part in this global cause through an active campaign to spread the importance of happiness in the life of students, and as well as measures to achieve the same. So here I would in the last, I would express and I would share my ways of happiness. How do I get happy? That I keep myself happy by playing with my pet animals. Like I love to have pet animals. I have little white rabbit, so I spend half of an hour of my day with him, and he falls asleep while laying in my lap. So that makes me so happy. That makes me so excited when I see him laying in my lap and he's sleeping and I'm watching him. So this is how I release my stress, little bit stress of education, because I spend 9 hours of my day at university. And the second thing which makes me so much happy is that I complete all my assignments, quizzes, and presentation on the campus. I don't do any work after coming back to home, so that I can spend quality time with my siblings, and with my parents, with my pet animals. So these are the things which makes me so happy, and I love to do share what I know good about something. Like in Dr. Shofta's Feroz book, there are so many things which mostly common people don't know about their health and nature. So I love to share that things with other people, so that I can make myself healthy, or so that I can make other healthy as well. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fatma, for giving very wise suggestions for the people who are running the system, for government, for organizations. And I like the style, the spontaneous way you have spoken, and we pray that suggestions are being implemented in our country also. Thank you, Fatma. Our next speaker is Dr. Amreen, and she is a radiologist by specialty. And while doing her radiology, X-rays or CT or MRI, she was telling me that after seeing so many patients with growths or lumps or tumors, she thought about doing something to help them. And that was the turning point in her life, and that make her landed in the field of lifestyle medicine. And she has done various specialities in lifestyle medicine. She is the vice president of Pakistan Association of Lifestyle Medicine also. So Dr. Amreen Haider.
Hello, I'm Dr. Breen. I did my graduation from King Edward Medical University. I am a lifestyle medicine physician and a diplomat of American Board of Lifestyle Medicine. Art of happiness is a powerful question to ask. Psychologists and experts in the science of happiness give the best answer. Scientists view happiness as a combination of how satisfied you are with your life and how good you feel on a daily basis. It varies from person to person, but approximately 40% of your happiness is controlled by your thoughts, actions, and behaviors. 50% is genetically determined, and 10% is determined by your circumstances. Contrary to popular belief, we get used to our circumstances over time, so they do not play as large a role in our happiness level as we might think. Happiness is a skill you can build with consistent practice. You have the ability to control how fulfilling your life is. Keep in mind that happiness is not about feeling hunky-dory all the time. It's not having the money. It's not about refusing to see the negative stuff in the world. And it's not final destination. Happy people are healthier people because they have low rate of cardiovascular diseases. They have better immunity. They heal faster after injuries. They are more likely to have a healthier diet and they live longer too. It's not healthier to have steady levels of moderate happiness over time than spikes of extreme happiness. Your happiness isn't just about you. Happy people are more productive at their study or job. They typically have deep relationships with others. They help other people and volunteer more. They are more likely to donate money to charity and they are more creative problem solvers. You can increase your happiness in the long term by nurturing relationships, having new experiences, helping others, or just being grateful to what you have. You can get even more happiness out of a good experience by savoring it. Use all your senses, pay attention to sight, sound, smell, and feelings. Pay attention to little details of a great experience. Share it with someone else and linger and dwell on the moment to savoring experiences. Make us happier, more grateful, more hopeful while reducing levels of stress. Guilt and depression. Good experiences strengthen the parts of the brain connected with happiness. Three things that will kill your happiness over time: comparing yourself to others, a lack of close friendship, or holding on to resentment. People who have experienced some adversity in life are actually happier than those who never experienced any. After adversity, once we have got some distance and perspective, making sense of our lives changed, help us to shape our identities, increase our resilience, cope better with current stresses, and become more optimistic about the future. Feeling connected to a deeper purpose, mission, or direction in life is a key for our well being. People who report having more meaning in their lives are more likely to have stable moods and show social behavior. People of all ages report being happier when they have more meaning in their lives. Different ways people can find meaning or through or fulfilling a career. People who find meaning at work show more motivation and engagement on the job. By raising children, 85% of parents think that their children bring them more happiness and fulfillment. Studies shows that people who are spiritual or religious tend to be more happier. Beside meaning, it also gives people a built-in social network, and you can also get more meaning by pursuing goals that align with your core values. Goals and include commitment to something out yourself, such as family and friends. Make time for friends. On days when people spend 6 to 7 hours with friends or family, they are 12 times more likely to report feeling happier than rather stressed. People who work full-time experiences the most happiness on days when they spend 8 to 9 hours with friends or family. So make the most of your weekends. Being intentionally grateful is very powerful to well-known researcher Benny Brown said in 12 years of research. I have never interviewed a single person with the capacity to really experience joy who does not also actively practice gratitude. In one study, people who wrote down things they were grateful for once a week or 6 weeks felt happier and less depressed for up to 6 months. They report better sleep quality and they were more likely to engage in healthy behaviors like exercises. Here are 5 ways to instantly boost your happiness. Spend 5 minutes doing something to brighten the day of someone you love. Email someone and thank them for something they did for you. Have a meaningful conversation with a good friend. Take 30 seconds to help someone who needs it. Or just savor a memory. Close your eyes and relive the happiest moment of your life. Some other tips to get into a state of flow by engaging in an activity that's enjoyable require a degree of skill. and is just enough of a challenge that you can feel in the zone and lose all sense of time. People who regularly practice mindfulness meditation have increased activity in the left prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain responsible for calm and happiness, and it helps to practice empathy. Take someone else's point of view. When we compare happiness of the countries, here are the things that correlate with higher happiness: GDP per capita, freedom to make life choices, generosity, and longevity. But the most important factor researchers found is social support. Remember that happiness is like a skill you can get better at. So, the secret to happiness is sharing it. Don't take everything too seriously. Laugh it off. Smile often, not just for yourself, for others too. Help others, be sensitive to others' needs. Let the light enter your heart, glow with it. Thanks.
Beautiful artistic presentation by uh, Dr. Heather. And this aesthetic sense would have developed only by taking a good care of herself also. So our next presentation is by Samia Khalid, and Samia Khalid is the research assistant of Riphah Institute of Lifestyle Medicine, and she's working on many researches on the role of lifestyle medicine on students, and she's going to share a few of her, a limited level of her studies, which up till now she has done with us. So, Samia Khalid.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Samia Khalid. By profession, I'm a clinical psychologist. I joined lifestyle medicine from 1 year before. In my observation, lifestyle medicine means adopt a natural lifestyle, to sync yourself with nature. That will very helpful to maintain your mental and physical health. In my life, there was a time when I believed all my happiness revolved around how busy I was. If I was busy, I was using time more wisely. If I was busy, I was proving to myself that I am valuable. If I was busy, I am creating the possibility of a better life in the future. Any threat of my productivity was a threat to my sense of hope and satisfaction. But being busy didn't make me happy because I was busy, but no time to think about myself. I had a lot of time to my profession just to make a perfect and a successful lady. But in this competition, I forget to myself. I don't know what makes me happy. I didn't know what should I do for my actual satisfaction. When I joined lifestyle medicine introduced me with myself. First time when my teacher, Dr. Shagufta Firoz, asked me to see your image on mirror, feel to your actual self. So sorry that how much you ignore to yourself. I experienced. That moment my eyes were filled with tears and I really feel ashamed. On that day, I see real Samya that was waiting for this moment, that want to see me. Through lifestyle medicine, I learned to show gratitude for all the blessings of Allah. I was very thankful, I am very thankful to Dr. Shagufta Feroz that introduced me with myself. It was the turning point of my life and I felt inner peace and a deep feelings of happiness. According to my experience, source of happiness is present in yourself or in myself. Science called it some type of chemicals that are present in our brain that generate happiness. Means these chemicals are serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, or someone say endorphin chemicals. High level of these chemicals increase the level of confidence, happiness, well-being, and life satisfaction. My experience is that through daily routine, minor activities like some positive acts of kindness, we can easily generate or activate these chemicals. Just show the kindness with yourself and with others. To prove this thing, I conducted an experimental study. with the students, a group of students that have very busy routine in university. Our students are very less happy in their lives and so much busy, and they have no time for their self-care. To generate the happiness as a treatment, I use the basic principles of synchronized lifestyle medicine, which was introduced by Dr. Shagufta Feroz. In these rules, rule number one was related to self-care. When I asked the students, start to love to yourself, start to respect and care to yourself. Secondly, I asked the students to spend some time with yourself, like I introduced me time. Means student ask the student to spend at least 1 hour with yourself and do your favorite activity. Third one, I asked the student to do any type of exercise like yoga or which was interesting for him or her. They should start. Last but very important was I disciplined their daily life routine. These students were not habitual for breakfast and have no fixed timings of their meals that I started. I also focused on their sleep timings that should not be later than 11 p.m. I continue this all this treatment for 1 month, and after that students show me the following views. Like one student said me, now I feel to myself very light. One said, life is looks like a butterfly. Life looks very beautiful. And one student said, after adding me time and I met to myself, and I'm very happy in my life. I feel proud and I feel that oh really lifestyle medicine work in their life. One said I'm very aggressive. I was very aggressive, but now I feel no aggression. I don't know why. I just see to him and I asked, oh, I know that. What is this? So if I concluded that results of my studies says that all are those are people that are not satisfied with their lives. Actually, they are desynced with the nature. They don't know what the actual reason is, but why they are not happy. But in my study proved that actual source of happiness is hidden in yourself. Just to need activate these sources. And these sources will be easily activated when you connect with the nature, when you start a disciplined life. We can say your life is an actual medicine of your happiness. If you want to make yourself happy, use this medicine and see the actual results. Try to make yourself more happy and more comfortable. This is the actual message of my study and the experience of myself.
Assalamualaikum, this is me Hamna, and today I'm going to share the secret of my happiness. When I feel tired of my daily routine, I do something that makes me happy. At that time, I do photography. That makes me so much happy.
हेलो एंड अस्सलाम वालेकुम एवरीवन, माय नेम इज़ मोमिना शाहिद और आज मैं आप लोगों के साथ अपनी हैप्पीनेस का एक सीक्रेट छोटा सा सीक्रेट शेयर करना चाहूँगी जो कि है बेकिंग। मैं जब भी कभी बोर हो रही होती हूँ या मैं अपनी कंप्लीट होल डे में थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट चाह रही हूँ या अपने आप को हैप्पी फील करवाना चाह रही हूँ तो मैं मूव करती हूँ बेकिंग की तरफ, जो कि मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा रिलीफ, रिलैक्स, कंफर्ट जोन देता है और जिससे मैं बहुत ज़्यादा हैप्पी होती हूँ। और मैं इसी चीज़ को अपना मी टाइम समझती हूँ। जब भी कभी मैंने अपने आप को मी टाइम देना हो तो मैं सिर्फ बेकिंग की तरफ मूव करती हूँ। सो थैंक यू सो मच SLP एंड डॉक्टर सन्या खालिद, आपने मुझे खुद को खुश रखने के लिए आप लोगों ने मेरी बहुत ज़्यादा हेल्प की है। थैंक यू वंस अगेन एंड अल्लाह हाफिज़।
Assalamu alaikum, this is me Shaida, and today I'm going to share the secret of my happiness. Whenever I feel tired of my daily life and I want to do something new, something that makes me feel happy, at that time I make calligraphy, and by making calligraphy I literally feel very, very happy.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Sneela Habiba and I was facing some issues like aggressiveness and also sometimes became disappointed. Meanwhile, I joined Mem Samia and she guided me about SLP and I followed the precious rules of SLP and also started doing gratitude on little things. Now, Alhamdulillah, my mood swings are very much in my control. So now my happiness becomes directly proportional to my satisfaction. There are many things that satisfies me, like reading Quran, offering prayer, and also capturing pictures of natural scenes. Thank you, ma'am, for making me part of SLP.
Now you will see few more testimonials, but these testimonials are from the senior doctor, the professor, the head of the departments, and who are the experienced ones. And it was initially very difficult to teach them lifestyle medicine because they thought there is no need to learn any new science at this stage of their professional life. So just see what they have to say about their experiences regarding lifestyle medicine.
Attending lifestyle medicine course conducted by Medit Shugufta Feroz made me realize there is more to art of healing than just medicine. So I came to the wilderness.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Shazia Ali, Head of Physiology Department at Islamic International Medical College. Recently, I have done a course in lifestyle medicine and I thoroughly enjoyed it and learned a lot from it. I learned through this course that everybody is not given a happy life, you have to make it. The course was very interesting and it was made interesting by Dr. Shagufta Feroz. Her knowledge, her experience, her way of teaching, and the way she dealt the whole course is worth appreciating. I am very proud to be a coach of lifestyle medicine, and I recommend this course to the following people as well. The ones who are working in healthcare, the ones who are at home, and the ones who want to improve their lifestyle, whether they are doing other businesses, other occupations. Thank you very much.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Abir Rana. I am a naturopath. I am a nutritional therapist and a lifestyle medicine coach and a member of the Pakistan Association of Lifestyle Medicine. Today on World Happiness Day, I wanted to give you a short message on the importance of lifestyle medicine on our happiness, and how I have used some of the simple lifestyle medicine practices to improve my own levels of happiness. Now we are living increasingly stressed out lives and busy lives, and now living through a pandemic has added even more stress, anxiety, uncertainty, and grief into our lives. In such times, it is now more important than ever to be making more conscious efforts towards our own happiness. And that can be as simple as following some of these basic lifestyle medicine practices of eating well, sleeping on time and having a good night's rest, of moving about and exercising, being connected with our friends and our family through Zoom or WhatsApp calls, and engaging in our hobbies and things that we've enjoyed doing in the past. Now I've improved my own levels of happiness by following some of these lifestyle medicine practices. For me, eating well and a nutrient-dense food might not finish or completely eradicate my problems, but it did give me the strength and resilience to deal with my problems head on. Being able to get a good night's sleep has made me less cranky in the morning and much more of a pleasant person for my family. Being able to do things that I've enjoyed has helped me manage my stress levels and made me a much more person who lives more in the moment and enjoys the little joys of life. So by following these lifestyle medicine practices, you can improve your own levels of happiness as well. Thank you for listening.
You have another interesting speaker, Dr. Yashoda Bhaskar. She is a double board certified physician in internal medicine and lifestyle medicine. She graduated from medical school in India and moved to the US after she got married almost 30 years ago. She completed her residency at Texas Tech and subsequently worked as a hospitalist for 16 years in the Pacific Northwest. She is currently an ICF certified life transformation coach and a certified money mindset coach, which is very interesting. She helps women medical professionals who have unique struggles in medicine around burnout, sexism, and discrimination through her powerful coaching methods. The tools she employs as a money coach bring clarity to the taboo conversation around money and take her clients from financially innocent to financially savvy so that they can feel free to design a life of their own choosing. She also happens to be a certified Vipassana meditation teacher. In her spare time, she loves to read by the beach, go for long walks, and listen to motivating and empowering podcasts and audiobooks. She also enjoys yoga and Zumba. So, Dr. Yashoda Bhaskar.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Yashoda Bhaskar. I'm a board certified internal medicine physician. I'm also board certified in lifestyle medicine. And I also happen to be a ICF certified life coach and a certified money coach. So thank you for allowing me to do this presentation. What I really wanted to talk about was the seventh pillar of lifestyle medicine. So a little background. When I was preparing for my lifestyle medicine board exams last year and going through the materials and reviewing all about the 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine, I also was starting to notice how there was a lot of stress and anxiety around money and finances, especially because of COVID. I was a little surprised because I saw the same level of stress and anxiety amongst physicians who had to sometimes take a pay cut. So I got very curious about that and started doing some research. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about the connection between money and happiness and why I think it should be the 7th pillar of lifestyle medicine. So I guess it's like an unofficial pillar. So my background is I grew up in India. I went to medical school in India, and then I moved to the US after I got married. I had an arranged marriage, and somehow money was never on my radar. And I know it kind of sounds weird to say that, but I've been somebody who has sort of had a neutral relationship with money. I've never craved too much for it, and I've also always had the sense of comfort, probably because I'm a physician, obviously, that I was always, very comfortable that I was going to make enough money to have a reasonably good life because of my MD degree. So it's interesting that I'm doing this work now of being like a money mindset, coach. So what my research has shown, and while preparing for my coaching program, is realizing that, or learning, I should say, that as human beings, we tend to make a lot of decisions around money from our emotional brain. So as you all know, we have the primitive brain, we have sort of the lizard brain, and then we have the neocortex, which is the most recently developed part of our brains. We make a lot of decisions in our day-to-day life that are automatic, that don't require a whole lot of thought processing. And unfortunately, sometimes that does include decisions around money. So, for example, you see a car, or you see a beautiful purse or something like that, and you want to buy it right away. Well, a lot of times that's because your emotional brain is sending you these messages that whatever this particular thing might be is going to, make you happy, right? But we're also, I think, by now familiar with the concept of what they call the hedonic treadmill, where let's say you buy the latest model iPhone or the latest model car, and your pleasure of buying those things might last for a few days, maybe even a few weeks, but then your level of happiness kind of settles back to its previous baseline. And so there is this idea that some things can buy us happiness, but our experience can show us otherwise. And yet many of us don't necessarily learn our lesson, the first few times. We kind of have to repeat it several times to finally get to the point where we say, oh, right, like these things are not necessarily buying me happiness. I'm sure we've also heard of stories of lottery winners or, sport players who end up with a lot of money and kind of mismanage it and become bankrupt. Well, a lot of it is because of, like I said, how our emotions are around money. The other thing with money, which is interesting to me, is many of us don't get any sort of decent sort of financial education as we are growing up. We hear these messages from our parents, right? Like we hear things like money doesn't grow on trees and money doesn't necessarily make you happy, or, it just depends, or wealthy people are stingy, or rich people are bad, or, or whatever, or poor people are lazy. And so we just accept these messages as we are growing up because we don't necessarily think of questioning it. And then many of us haven't really done our money work even after we become adults. And so there is this confusion about money. Money is also a very taboo subject. It's very controversial. As you all know, it can cause a lot of rift in relationships. At least in this country, in America, it is the #1 cause of divorces. And about 75 to 80% of Americans, in a study that was done several years ago, said that their #1 cause of stress was related to financial issues. And also as the world is changing and capitalism is increasing and more people are driven to fulfilling a void or a need for happiness by buying more and more things, and consumerism is on the rise, all the more it is important, I think, for us to really think about money and its connection with happiness in our own lives. Now, everybody's situation is, obviously different, and it's not the same formula for everybody, but also think about your patients, right? I've been a physician for a very long time, and I don't recall ever asking any of my patients about their financial situation or financial wellness. Like, can they afford their medications? Are they stressed that they're going to be losing a job pretty soon? How are they going to pay their medical bills? Or is there tension and stress at home with their spouse or their children or their siblings around money? And so, again, I know as physicians, we're not necessarily taught to ask these questions or delve there, but as a lifestyle medicine physician, I feel like if you're really looking at a patient's comprehensive situation with their diet, their exercise, their sleep, right, social connections, stress, those things are in many cases related to their financial situation. And so, even just asking something simple, not going too much into depth about their, very particular financial situation, but just getting a sense of where they're at and what their thought is. The other thing that comes up in my mind is debt, right? Especially in America, there are a lot of people who are burdened by a lot of debt. They've had to take out loans either to pay off medical bills or maybe go to medical school or any other college, right, for higher education, or to buy a house. And these are all very valid reasons to take out loans. Not everybody has the wherewithal or the luck to be born into a family where their financial needs can be met right away. So they have had to borrow loans. The only thing I would caution is how much you're borrowing, right? I mean, here we hear about medical students coming out with huge loans. I've had some people tell me it's about $500,000 even, and then they're spending a large part of their life trying to pay off these debts. And so they're never really kind of ahead of the curve. And then also in terms of taking loans, I mean, credit card debt is a huge problem in this country. And sometimes the credit cards are being used for not necessarily for things that make sense, like, you know, paying off your electricity or water bill, but really to maybe go on some fancy vacation or buy clothes or shoes that you can't really afford. You know, this is sort of this wanting to overstretch and spend beyond your means. And so again, an awareness of how we use money to enhance our lives. You know, money in and of itself, I think it's a neutral object, right? It's just you know, it's a piece of paper with some numbers printed on it, or it's a coin, it's a, you know, piece of metal with numbers printed on it. And all of this came about historically, you know, relatively recently, right, in the history of mankind. It used to be a barter system that our ancestors used to use to exchange services or exchange goods. And, you know, I mean, definitely money causes a lot of, you know, bad relationships sometimes, and also puts people into a lot of trouble. It affects their health in so many ways. And, you know, all I'm trying to do here is raise awareness around this issue, around why money and finances are something that I think we all need to really work on our own, sort of do our own inner work to even understand our relationship with money, and then maybe help our family. You know, I would say also, what kind of financial advice or education do you give your children, right? It's not just the math, right? I mean, the math part is easy, right? Like, you earn a certain amount, you spend a certain amount, you save a certain amount. It's necessary to track your expenses so you kind of know where your money is going. So we know all these things from an intellectual perspective, but many people just don't do it because of these sort of mixed messages and emotions they haven't yet processed around money. So how is money linked to happiness? So there was a study done, I'm sure you guys have heard of it, many years ago, where it was determined that anything above $75,000 US dollars was really just icing on the cake. So it seemed like happiness plateaued past that amount. Now, recently, some studies have come out saying that's not true, that, you know, the more rich you are, it seems like the happiness level just keeps going up. Now, I don't know much about these studies and how they were conducted, but what I can tell you is that, you know, for many of us, once our basic needs are met, right, it's that Maslow's hierarchy of needs, once the bottom of like food, clothing, shelter, security is met, and then we all, because we are humans and we like to enjoy our life, we like to have certain pleasures in life, the next level of, you know, maybe having a few vacations, or, you know, having some discretionary income to spend on things that bring you joy and happiness, being able to buy gifts for your loved ones, etc. Once sort of that is fulfilled, then really anything above that, it really does become icing on the cake. At least that's my my personal opinion. Obviously, you are allowed to, you know, form your own opinions. But I guess really the point of what I'm trying to say and do here is just asking people to take some time to think about your own sort of ideas about money. How well do you think you yourself are managing your money? If you have a significant other, are both of you on the same page? in a lot of couples, one person is the saver and the other person is a spender, and that can cause some friction in the marriage. I tell people you can do this thing called money dates, right? Like once a week or, twice a month. You can sit down and you can talk about, what's coming in, what's going out, what are some things that you would like to spend on, or the other person might like to spend on, and see if it can be something that's not going to bankrupt you or make you stress about, oh my God, can we afford to pay that or not, right? And then also saving is so important. I'm sure you guys know that especially in America, savings are at a really, really low point. There's a lot of people who live paycheck to paycheck, and that's not just in this country, that's pretty much all over the world. And so even on a global level, how do we improve the well-being and the financial well-being of those who are less fortunate than us? Does it mean giving to charity? I've been in a bunch of physician groups where they talk about how much money they can make, which is fine. But again, like I said, once you've sort of met some of the, met your own needs at a reasonable level, are you giving back to society? Are you maybe sponsoring somebody's education or giving to an orphanage or something so that you can better, other human beings' lives, so they can also start having similar opportunities as some of us who have been more blessed. So anyway, I just wanted to come on briefly and talk a little bit about like I said, the neuroeconomics and psychology of money, and just get people to start thinking about it, becoming less unaware, talk, and also just think about, where are maybe some things that you can improve for yourself, like maybe tracking your expenses or needing to see if you are earning enough to cover your expenses. Are you saving for your future? Are you spending wisely? Are you making efforts to get out of debt if that's a problem, right? Are you having a better relationship and able to communicate and talk with your significant other and your children in a smart way about money? And how do you start shifting from making decisions about money from a primitive brain perspective to the neocortex so that you're making smart and sensible decisions about it? This, I think, is really the recipe for happiness. When we feel comfortable from a financial standpoint, a lot of the other things like the stress reduction, being able to eat healthy, being able to exercise, being able to sleep well at night, having good social connections, all these other lifestyle medicine pillars actually become easier. So I really do believe that financial well-being is a very strong pillar, not only for ourselves, but for our patients as well. So thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate this opportunity, and take care, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Yashoda Bhaskar. This was a very, very interesting topic which I never thought about discussing with my patients also. But my observation is that people who belong to low middle class, they are trying to get more money. And my experience is that those who are from a very affluent class or very rich people, they are also not very happy, because I have been seeing patients from that class, and they come and they say, we have everything, but we are not happy. So they are trying to go to the gym, they are trying to have the organic foods, they have got everything, all luxuries in their life. So there I feel that if you are not spending or sharing your money with the people around you, or the phenomena of social or volunteerism is not there, there is you have money, you have wealth, but probably it is not giving you peace. So people who have less money, this is my observation. If you agree, it's up to you. But my observation is people who are having lesser amount of wealth or assets or who belong to middle class, but they are into a process of sharing. They are into lots of charities. They are into educating some children from the poor class. They experience the phenomena of abundance. When my parents used to say or talk about abundance, I never understood what is this abundance. How can it be tangible? How can the phenomena of abundance can be tangible? But I have seen this, and I have seen this. Recently, I was listening to a poor man who has a very small house, in Lahore, but he has some property. He has donated that property for all the labor class which come to the main city to work as a labor, and they stay in that house of that man who himself is not a very rich person. And the other day I was watching his video on TV, and I was surprised, and I was astonished at the amount of happiness and contentment was on his face. So I think when we share our hard-earned money, we experience something which is, yes, as Yashoda said, it's a piece of paper, but something at subtle level is attached to that piece of paper, and probably that is our intention, which goes and attaches with that piece of paper, and that piece of paper becomes something energetic, and it either behaves well or it misbehaves. So I think the phenomena of charity or donating or sharing your money with others in terms of food, clothing, education, it gives abundance to your wealth also. Thank you, Yashoda. Thank you very much. So now our next speaker is a very prestigious and a very important lady of Lahore. Her name is Aisha Nurani. Her title is Quest for Ultimate Happiness, which is Salam. Her teaching experience has been associated with National College of Arts as a visiting faculty since 1996 to date. Aisha has traveled to many cities of the world with special interest in regional architecture. She has presented numerous papers around the world, to name a few: Modernity to Tradition, then in India, then Sufi's role in traditional urban society for Caravan in Karachi. She has presented many papers. So she established Dachi Foundation in 2010. And this Dachi Foundation from 2011 to 2020 has held 15 exhibitions to date. And Dachi has reached out to more than 500 artisans and entrepreneurs by giving them training and input into upgrading their crafts. The mission is towards helping local artisans realize their potential and improve their standard of living through self-sufficiency. By providing a platform, it hopes to promote environmentally friendly lifestyles, preserving ethnic crafts, and also to increase awareness about making healthy lifestyle choices pertaining to diet, housing, and recreation. Dachi won the Angro I Am the Change Award in 2017. It is also featured in the Forbes magazine, Pakistan's Guardians of Culture. Aisha states that she gave her career to do something which gave her life a sense of purpose. Dachi came about as a divine calling for her. So she is the one who is responsible for giving happiness to many around her. So she is a role model for spreading happiness. So Aisha Nurani.
Assalamu alaikum, Aisha Appa.
Walaikum Assalam.
Welcome to our Happiness Summit.
My pleasure, really.
Talking about happiness, The quest for happiness has become a modern trend, an antidote to depression. How do you think this came about?
Um, really, the world has transformed itself from a traditional world which was God-centric to a modern world which was man-centric. The happiness which one found itself at peace with this world and realizing the responsibility given to you by God, you became a society which is focused on pleasing your animal spirit in you. So that was really the change. And then you sought happiness in things which are not happiness but pleasure. And then, of course, there's a limit to pleasure because pleasure is also more of it diminishes the amount of pleasure one gets. Like eating one mango, the pleasure you get from eating one mango diminishes by eating the 20th mango. So that's how it came about. And I feel that depression is because you've glutted your desires and your quest for power and your quest for riches and fame. And in the process, you've sacrificed a real reason for being on this earth.
Aishapa, from the title of your paper, I understand that the ultimate happiness is peace for you. How do you justify this statement?
I think the best thing is when you read Surah Yasin, and what Allah says is, when you will be in Jannah, there'll be a lot of things which will satisfy your needs. There'll be food as you desire, you'll be in the garden of pleasure, but the ultimate thing will be Salam, Qalam mein Rabbi Rahim. That means Allah has given His blessings to you. And that is, and if you read about people who have had a near-death experience and they pass through the tunnel and they approach a very divine light, and that is a source of pleasure, peace for them. They are at peace and they don't want to move away from this, but they have a role to perform in this earth. So they come back into the body, but it is a life-changing experience for them. Then for them, this world doesn't matter. For them, a higher role, a divine role in this world, which they are now focusing on. So for me, if you are at peace, you don't need anything else. You are happy with whatever the ups and downs God has given in your life as the will of Allah, and you surrender yourself to it.
To ensure peace, Aishapa, what measures should one take in his or her life?
I think first of all, realize your responsibility on this earth. Have a greater mission in life than just living it up. Focus your, the guidance had been given in the Quran and Sunnah, and the life of a prophet is, an example to be followed. So just focus on how he led his life. He had friends, he visited the sick, he realized his responsibility. He was humble, being the best human being, he was the most humble human being. In times of difficulty, he turned to Allah and prayed for guidance and blessings. Then, his whole life was, and he was the living Quran. So his whole life was focused on creating a better society and his role which Allah has ordained for us. And you see, for him, everything was trying to please Allah and perform his duties towards the human beings, his fellow human beings.
How far can a person go from his domain in search of his creator?
I think the divine spirit is within oneself. You have to focus first within yourself, try to be a better person, everything else follows. Then evaluate the blessings Allah has given you, your children, your resources, your shelter, and try and see if Allah has blessed me with so much, how can I pay back? If He's given you children, make them a sadaqah jariyah for yourself. Bring them, an upright human being. If He's given you a home, have a guest house for people to stay in. If He's given you a lot of wealth, share it with others. And in this way, you try and become a better human being and trying out to reach to Allah. Give sadaqah, and everything what our Prophet has specified. You just try and follow his example because he was the living Quran.
Being an architect, Aisha Appa, apart from creating beautiful houses, do you strive on making beautiful homes as well?
Of course, that's my first goal, that the house should be a blessed place for the inmates. And I did a couple of houses. It was a beautiful house, but the couple parted away. And it really hurt me that, with such loving ways, they were trying to create a home for themselves and they parted after the house was made. So I try to focus now on how do you create a blessed and a happy home. So the first thing which comes to my mind is it should be integrated with nature. Because if you want the house to be a blessed place, invite nature into your house. So normally my houses do have a patio and it acts like the lung and heart of the house. So there's a lot of sunshine, plants, fresh air, and it's a good place to sit during all weather, especially when you are so close to each other that you need a private space which is out in the open to be, connecting with nature. The other thing which I found, ostentatious houses is not really inviting pleasure into or happiness into your home. It should be a family-oriented home where the family gets together. So normally the living room is the best place for a family to get together. And don't give your children TV in the room. The TV or the computer should be used in the common place. And now we have these small mobiles, so you don't really need a computer or a mobile, but I think it has sort of disintegrated the family. We lived in happier times where we shared everything with our neighbors, so we've drifted apart from, being in this rat race of creating beautiful homes and ostentatious fittings. It doesn't really ensure that your house will be a happy house. It has to focus on nature, on bringing the family together, on bright colors. Dingy rooms doesn't, it's not a... And then declutter your house. So the less things you have, the better it is.
Okay, Aisha, speaking of technology, we know that we have too many gadgets, Wi-Fi, too much of radiation all around us. In old times when somebody wanted to connect with the divine, we had to go out and just look at the greenery. Now, living in the concrete jungle, how can one connect its soul with the divine?
Well, you have smaller houses and bigger gardens. You use your rooftop as a rooftop garden. And I think the more you connect with nature, because plants also have a certain aura and they can read your mind. So if you have a plant and you talk to your plants, it's a give and take on both sides. The plant will be healthier and it absorbs the toxins in the air which is created by pollutants. So it creates a happy atmosphere. And then of course, if you have a patio in a house, I've created patios in 5 manda houses also. And it becomes a sitting space which is inviting both light and air and greenery into your house. So I think that's the way you can disconnect with what is going on in the world. And a happy home, in my opinion, is one where everybody feels comfortable to come in. So you don't have any shortage of guests. You welcome everybody. You welcome your friends, your family, even your neighbors. So make it into a happy home for yourself. And it comes from giving. It comes from connecting with nature.
How do you connect yourself with the divine, ultimate divine?
Okay. First of all, I think you obviously, being a Muslim, you follow all the guidance given to you in your religion, staying away from things which are forbidden, and focusing on, the expectations Allah wants from you as a human being. But if you try to reach to Allah then follow the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Read about his life, read about how did he behave, inculcate a sense of love for him as Fanafil Rasul, that is, and then graduate to Fanafil Allah. That means you surrender your personality to Allah and do everything, evaluate what blessings He's given you and use that to, number one, be a better person and to devote your life to His cause. You can select whatever, blessings He's given you, whatever talents He's given you. But it should be, the focus should be to please Allah. And then you will see a lot of serenity comes in your personality. The ups and downs also, you take it as an azmaish, not as, you say, okay, it's the will of Allah and He's testing me. And normally, the more one tries to reach to Allah, the test papers are going to be difficult. But you realize that He wants me to do a PhD. So the papers are bound to be difficult. And if you evaluate the lives of saints, they all, most of them have been orphans at a very young age. And their life has been a struggle throughout. But you see what maqam the status they achieved. So if you take this world as a test paper, and you are in this world to prove yourself, then everything else follows. Things will open your way. You will find, even if you need anything in your life, just take out your janamaz and say 2 rakat hajat. And say, Allah, this is my problem, please solve it for me. There's some things which you can't handle yourself. Then, in times of trouble, do long sajdas. Unload your problems to Him. And say, this is the thing I can't handle myself. Please take care of it. So you talk to God. And the best way to talk to Him is tahajjud. That is when it's only between you and Him.
Aisha, I'm going to ask this next question to you in Urdu. It fits better. जो शिकवे से शुक्र तक का सफर है, वो इंसान को शुक्र में कब लाता है?
I think shikwa maybe is at least the starting point where at least you address Allah and you say, they go hand in hand. But eventually शुक्र ही रह जाता है, शिकवा पीछे रह जाता है. शुक्र के लिए शिकवा को छोड़ना पड़ेगा. हाँ, नहीं शुरू तो होता है ना शिकवा. At least you turn to Allah कि Allah, this is my problems, and then you say कि solve it from me. I am at peace with whatever you've dished out, and then eventually for you nothing else remains. But that is the status or stage of a Kamil Sufi. हमारी जिंदगी में अगर कोई मुसीबत आती है तो हम अल्लाह के पास ही जाते हैं. We resort कि अल्लाह, this is the problem, and you pray to Him also, but not why me, why have these things befallen me, not that sort of shikwa. But if there are any problems in your life, you turn to Allah and you say, okay, these are my problems, please help me out with them. But eventually then the problems also, when you really reach a stage of Kamil Sufi, that also, the shikwa also doesn't remain anymore. And the problems also do not seem like a problem. Like our Sheikh, his, say, Hazrat Mushtaba Khan Sahib, his father, when the Black Plague had arrived, he had about 12 sons. And he used to bury one, come home, and bury the other, next one. So out of all the 12 sons, only one remained. And he would say, Alhamdulillah. So that is the stage of a Kamil Sufi, when this world and these attachments matter no more.
How can one achieve the state of gratitude when we're not ready to forgive somebody for breaking a glass even?
I think everybody cannot reach that state. Some are born with it and have the capacity to reach that far. For us mere mortals, I think at least being grateful to Allah and seeking our role in this life, I think we should be content with that. Maybe we are not really will not be able to take such challenges in our life. And Allah says, I will not burden with you with more than is your capacity to bear. So I think whatever stage the capacity he's given, just be thankful of it.
Ashapa, when we want to connect with the Creator, we often ask Him for that connection, and in return, sometimes He sends it, He gives us pain and hardship. And then that it becomes burden for us and unbearable. So how can we fight this fear?
You seek Allah in everything which comes in your way. If somebody comes to ask you for help, you help that person out because you realize that Allah has sent him to me. If somebody is in trouble, help them out financially. If somebody is seeking your help emotionally, help them out likewise. And constantly, it's like a step-by-step climbing the ladder. You cannot hope to achieve a status of a Kamil Sufi when your receptacle is not meant for it. So whatever blessings Allah has given you, He's only going to question you that much. And eventually, I think the ultimate thing is to ask for that give me the ishq of a Rasul. Okay, my whole life would be sacrificed for a Prophet.
Aishapa, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was sent as a benefactor for the entire mankind. What can we do to feel close to him?
You just try and emulate his lifestyle as much as you can. Obviously, we are all mortals and really not even worthy of his slipper in our life, but try and just adopt how he lived his life. I mean, at Dachi, we are trying to revive whatever sunnah we can. So this is the kind of water he used for his ablution. I mean, no jacuzzi, nothing. And it's not that there was a shortage of water. It is being mindful about the resources. You have to leave the world a better place for the next generation. Not think that this world is the end all for me. I should live it up and disregard for everybody else. So try and follow his example in whatever way what he ate, how he lived, how he slept, how he drank water. Just make it a part of your life and send as much durood as possible and do a lot of astaghfar, because that nurtures the angels which are surrounding you and protecting you from the onslaught of the shayateen. Because you see, the role of the shayateen in our modern life is relegated to Aladdin and the genie. It is not even jinn, it's a genie. But the jinn is very much there. The shaitan is there in the form of human beings, and it has the power to inculcate messages in your mind, to create rifts between husband and wife, between families. So the thing is, you have to seek protection of angels which Allah has appointed for you, and you nurture those angels by doing a lot of astaghfar. So try and, take this worldly life as a test, and things will go your way. You'll achieve, peace with yourself and with the divine.
Thank you so much, Aisha.
My pleasure, really.
Would you like to say any of your 2 bits to give your personal message for anyone?
I would suggest, first of all, do what injunctions God has given to you in your life. As being a Muslim, you have to fulfill all the Shariat. Now, if you want to take a shortcut to reach Allah, I think it would be good to join a silsila and do zikr. And it has to be given to you by a Kamil Sheikh. In this way, you are imbibing in Ruhani energy within yourself, and it hones all the talents which Allah has given to you. You see, being a student of Islamic architecture, it's still mind-boggling for me. How did they create such masterpieces of architecture and art and poetry? There has to be a divine spark in them which hones it. So for me, trying to do zikr, number one, it leads to a lot of peace in your life, and it hones your ability, the talent which Allah has given to you in His path.
Thank you so much, Aisha. It was a beautiful and a fulfilling conversation and something very close to my heart. It was an honor to talk to you.
My pleasure, really.
Beautiful talk by Aisha Nurani, and I think she has given us multiple messages. Her talk is a recipe for ultimate peace and happiness, and we should listen what she has said many times to understand what was the summary of her talk. Really enlightened and a happy person. So one cannot spread happiness until and unless you have attained ultimate happiness in yourself or in your being. Only then you will be able to manage the happiness of your society or your community. Thank you very much, Aisha Nurani. So a little change for you. Next small video is 6 minutes tour to Pakistan, just to give you just a very brief tour of Pakistan, and you will enjoy the sceneries of Pakistan. Yes, I'm sure you would have felt relaxed after watching this video about the scenic beauty of Pakistan. Our next presenter is Simi Rahil. Simi Rahil is a rare combination of a development trainer and media professional, a designer, creative thinker, activist, writer, teacher, and a mentor with over 4 decades of experience. She has been an actor and anchor for public and private television, film, theatre, and a master trainer for gender reproductive health, leadership, communication, and human rights. She holds the Fatma Jinnah Medal for Media and is the fellow of IILDM in Reproductive Health, Gender, and Leadership, the fellow of Harvard School of Medicine on Health and Human Rights, and GWLN Leadership Fellow from Levi School of Business, Santa Clara. She is also the Reproductive Health Ambassador for the organization called LEAD. I was not able to define her stature in a better way because I could not read the abbreviations which were there. I hope Simi will talk about her profile herself in a better way. So the topic of her presentation is The Secrets to My Happiness Connection, Simi Rahil.
Welcome, Simi Appa. A very beautiful moment, in fact, for me to have you sitting in my garden right now. To begin with, tell us a little about yourself. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you, Samar. Assalamu alaikum. And thank you for inviting me to talk about this wonderful. I'd love to share my journey with you guys because I don't know whether I can be of any help or I can create a holistic healing journey for another person, but it has been for me. And I think a lot of it has to do with what I do and my ability to constantly learn. I was very young when I decided that my life was going to be a learning journey. Whether it would be learning about plants, whether it would be learning about animals, people, housework, children, anything. But I had to learn. And I realized then that in the professional world, I had to learn a lot more. So over the many years, that is why the diversity of my learning. I'm a health and human rights, gender, communication and leadership trainer. I'm also a teacher and I'm an actor. Very strange. I think I'm the only actor in the world who is a designated professional trainer, master trainer. It has all helped me heal. It has all helped me be happy. I think being a teacher makes me happiest because that's where I'm sharing the most. Whatever I've learned in my life, that's a platform where I can share. And sharing definitely makes you happy. Happiness is not a glass of milk or a big car or a big house or great wardrobe. Happiness is a feeling of acquiring something larger than yourself. It is being happy with the smallest creation of Allah. A ladybug can make you happy. Leaves, birds, animals, people, the wind, the rain, anything can make you happy. But happiness is a practice. You have to absorb it. You have to understand that every day you have to tell yourself, my best friend, who is my mentor, she's like my mother, she's like my friend, she's my companion, She says always the attitude of gratitude. If you are happy, you will thank Allah for all that you have, not for the things you don't have. Because there is never enough for any human being. So happiness is not hard, but happiness is constant and practice. Happiness is something that you cannot learn in a textbook, but you can learn in the journey of life. If you travel and if you go to a city, you stay in a big hotel, you travel in a limousine, you do your high-powered meetings, I don't think that's happiness. I think that's acquisition. I think walking down a street, hearing the culture and smelling the smells of a city is happiness. So I don't know, but most people today forget that acquisition will never make them happy. But unfortunately, Samar, our education system trains us for acquisition, to get the better job, to get more pay, to be in a race with another person. Our educational system is not training us to be happy, to be holistically fulfilled. No one teaches you that. Even the parents today pressurize you to be in that race where you are economically sufficient, but you are never sufficient economically because there's always another thing that you want to buy or acquire. So happiness is something that is a mental, emotional, spiritual well-being. It's health. Happiness is something that another person senses from you. I also feel, Samar, that smiling is it's a very infectious. Agar if somebody is upset and you look at them and you smile, they will smile back at you, and then they will keep that smile, and suddenly over some period of time their mood will change. Smile is something like that. So smiling is very, very important. It's very contagious, very important to continue smiling.
Give us a few tips about how to be happy. You're talking about happiness. Share a few simple tips from your past experience.
Well, happiness, I will tell you how I feel happy. Maybe these are practices that one can, over a period of time, they can absorb, they can make their own, but it is a practice. Noticing nature, noticing the beauty of Allah's greatness. Every single moment, the breath that you take, the steps that you walk, the thoughts that you think, everything. That is it is so magnificent that I feel happy in doing that. I notice animals. I love animals. I love nature. Love when it's windy and I can feel, and the air becomes tangible. You can feel the wind. And I have chimes in my house, so I can hear the chimes. That's such a magical moment in life. And I understand the beauty of the glory of nature and Allah's existence. I think to say that I have a lot, because humans never say it's enough, but a lot, to recognize that. That's a practice, to keep saying that, to develop a safe space for yourself. It can be your bedroom, it can be your bathroom, where you have what you like. For women, probably some women like cut flowers, they like fragrance, they like aromatherapy. For men, they like gadgetry. Just a corner in the house, whatever makes you happy, create that safe space, that special space for yourself. So that will make you feel happy.
Also, you rejuvenate yourself.
Yes, refresh. You need to refresh yourself, and I think to go back to that place. Yes, very much so. Read, listen to music, paint your nails, anything that makes you happy, anything that makes you feel good. Even if you, like for my daughter, going to the gym makes her feel good. That's cooking makes her feel good. So she does this and she sings. When she cooks, she sings because that's what she enjoys. So it can be anything. There's also an exercise. I think every month one should write down on 2 pieces of paper and be honest with the piece of paper, because that piece of paper is your friend, the best friend you will ever have, because you can be completely honest with that piece of paper. On one piece of paper, you write your strengths, and one you write your weaknesses. Look at your weaknesses and see if you can convert them into your strengths. Give yourself a whole month and try and work on that and put them in that list that says your strengths. So I think that is also something that one can do.
It's a wonderful and a
Very simple exercise. And of course, things that make me happy are gardening. I love gardening. I love growing things from seed. Right now, my garden is in full bloom, and they're not elaborate flowers. They're just flowers because I grew them from the seed I collected over many years. Every year I collect the seed, I put it in packets, I name it, and then every October I plant it. So that makes me happy. Feeding street animals makes me feel happy. Sharing whatever I know, little, I know very little, but whatever I know, with everybody I know, sharing it makes me feel happy. Having jamans in the monsoon season and reading a book makes me happy. So happiness is not acquiring the latest model of the Mercedes or the biggest house on the block. That's not happiness. That is acquisition. Acquisitions never made anybody completely happy.
Simi Appa, I was asked initially to give a kind of a small introduction of all the speakers in the summit participating right now. And I got one from you which was the longest. I was highly impressed. How did you manage to do so much in life? Tell us how you did it all and how did you fit that in one person?
I don't know how I fitted them, but I think one person has a huge space inside. We do not recognize the space inside that we have of fitting all that. Allah's gift is for you to understand the universe, to understand your life, to understand the people around you, to try and learn from whatever is around you. And as a young girl, I wanted to learn. And I went to an art college and had a degree in design. But that was so incomplete for me. And then I went and I learned to be a development trainer. My subject is gender and reproductive health. So I became a fellow of the IIE. And then I thought, okay, so something new. And then I became a fellow of the Harvard University School of Medicine in Health and Human Rights. And then I went to Santa Clara and at the School of Business, Levi School of Business, and I am a fellow of the Global Women's Leadership Program, and I am a global women's leader, and I'm now a teacher, and I love learning. If today somebody says to me that this scholarship is available or this course is available, would you like to go do it? I would probably say yes. I would not probably, I would definitely say yes and go and learn something else. Because when I went to the Academy of Art San Francisco, the dean asked me, Jack Isgrove, he asked me, he said, what are you doing here? You could probably teach a program.
I remember that.
Yeah, and all my class fellows were 20, 21-year-olds, and I was 43. And I was like, okay, so I learned how to be an actor by default. There was no school in Pakistan where I could learn to be an actor. But I never know how to teach it. I don't know how will I teach acting. So I've come here to learn how you teach so I can go back and teach. So he said, that's a first. So yeah. And I don't have a degree from there, but I did learn for 2 semesters. And then I finished and came back. That was all that I was there for. I was not there to get a degree from the Academy of Arts San Francisco.
You were an amazing actress for the Pakistan television and for many, many multiple channels we have in our country. And you were lucky that you had so much within yourself and you got a platform to voice your feelings. Not many people have that opportunity. How do you feel about that? How do you feel talking to the audience, voicing your feelings, getting a positive or a negative feedback from the audience? I don't know. Just tell us more about it and tell us what impact you made.
Initially, I was really, really happy because you get paid to yell, scream, throw a hissy fit, and laugh and cry. So you get paid to do all that, and that's really fun. But then I realized there was more to it than that. And I realized that I had a voice. I had a voice that the public heard. And I thought, okay, let's use the voice. So my understanding of the craft was one thing. My understanding of the script and the character was another thing. And over the different, over a long period of time, I realized that the characters I played, I could add to them because of my learning. Especially because of my gender perspective, because of my human rights perspective. And I could understand it better and I could play it better. So yeah, I use that. And now on the social media, now we have hyperactive social media. I don't have media managers, I manage it all by myself, and I use the social media to say a lot of things that need to be said. A lot of media professionals do not.
Simi Appa, in your very extensive biodata and your introduction, like I mentioned earlier, you talked about your teaching skills, and presently you're teaching at the Beacon House University in Lahore, Pakistan. And you say that teaching really excites you. That's one of your passions also. Tell us how teaching made you a complete person.
How teaching excites me, how it gives me that feeling of being almost complete is because when you share with someone what you have learned over a period of 20 years and you teach them when they are 19 or 20 and they get it, it's one of the most amazing feelings. Because what you have done is taught them and given them a head start. What you have learned in 20 years, you give them much earlier in life. So they have a head start. And that head start will help them understand who they are. You know, in happiness, understanding who you are is one of the most important things. Who is Simi? What does she want? Why does she want it? Is she capable of sharing that special space with the people she loves? These are questions you ask yourself. And your practice in spirituality or in religion is something that will give you so much support in your happiness quotient. When your happiness quotient is supported by your practices in life, then you're happy. Actually, they neglect it. Happiness is a neglected thing because they think happiness, khushi, oh, that's part of life. No, no, not anymore. My grandmother or my ancestors taking a frame of embroidery, sitting down, embroidering flowers on a pillowcase was happiness for them. It is a practice unknown today because time has taken over everything. But you cannot allow time to take everything over. You have to find that that window to create this for yourself. Why don't people garden? Why do so few people garden? Gardening is like nurturing a child. Bringing up animals is like nurturing a child. It's not for show. It's not you put a lion cub in a cage and show it to people. That's acquisition. That's not nurturing a live being. There's a huge difference between the two. So nurturing others, whether it is plants or animals or people, is what actually gives you happiness. Then of course followed by being truthful, by honest, to thine own self be true. And it must follow, like the night, the day. Thou canst be wrong to any man. That's Shakespeare for you. But, that's it. That's it. You have to know who you are. And your existence is primary for you because from that will stem everything that you do. The mother that you are, the father that you are, the brother that you are, the son that you are, the friend that you are, it stems from you. So you will not be a good anyone if you are not good to yourself. Because that pain will extend. And learning from pain is also very important. People will say, how do you learn from pain? Well, it's a practice. If you are hurt, be hurt. Allow yourself to cry. Allow yourself to express. Allow yourself to be angry. These are emotions that are part of human nature. But then after you are done with all that, then try and figure out. Okay, so this pain, how did it teach me something new? What did it teach me? Not to touch the hot kettle again, not to go into a rebound relationship again, or whatever. So yeah, everything teaches us if we are willing to learn.
Simi Appa, it's been a pleasure to have you with us today, and an absolute moment of joy for me at least, to have learned so much from your past experiences and the diversity you carry and the messages. To end it all up, though I don't feel like letting you go right now, and we'll call you next year, inshallah, for the same Happiness Summit. What last message for now would you like to leave to us and the numerous people watching you in Pakistan and abroad?
Messages are very big statements. I don't think I have a message. I think I only have something that I do, that when you're sad, when you're upset, when you're angry, break that thought. Consciously break it and smile and just sing or do something that will break that anguish in your life, and make that a practice, because that practice will help you heal. And healing is the most important thing to be happy. So yeah, I don't think I have a message. I think that's the message I have.
What a What a complete and comprehensive presentation by Simi Rahil, a person who has gone through a life journey and has learned through difficult times and comfortable timings. They are the real ones who can talk about real happiness, and they can talk about the role of, they can rather suggest people how to be a happy person. So, Simi Rahil has given us many small tips to be a happy person. As I said in the beginning, all my participants, they need to make notes because I know they are going to tell us many good things. Even I have forgotten. She has given us number of very healthy tips to be a happy person. So I'll be listening her again to make a record what she has said. Now, our next presenter is Samar Hashmi herself, the lifestyle medicine coach who was conducting all the interviews, and she graduated in architecture from the National College of Arts, Lahore in 2002. She was on the college honors list, and her thesis was a design of an eco-tourist resort. Her area of expertise was sustainability and protecting the environment by using natural and energy efficient building materials. She worked freelance with an ad agency and designed multiple sets for the television for good 5 years. With changing and challenging times of this new modern age, she felt a dire need of learning to build oneself, which was through physical health, emotional, and spiritual health. She completed a certification course in year 2019 on lifestyle medicine, and she's a member of American College of Lifestyle Medicine also. And this was a life-changing experience for her, and it was when she decided to dedicate her life towards healing others. So lifestyle medicine continues to give her deep meaning and satisfaction in her life. Currently, she is studying Masters in Nutrition from United Kingdom's leading college of naturopathic medicine, and she also holds responsibility of being the information secretary of Pakistan Association of Lifestyle Medicine. So, Samar Hashmi.
You are holy. You are divine. Behold the wonders inside you. Happiness is all about you. You have to cultivate it. You have to take care of it. You have to work hard for it. Happiness does not come easily or automatically. It's like a plant which needs you. It needs you to take care of it, nurture it every single day. And when you achieve happiness, this is what you get: good health, contentment, loving relationships, freedom from fear, freedom from guilt, and most important, a clear sense of purpose in life. These life-changing techniques, which I will share with you right now, came through personal experience and knowledge. They're simple, but need your effort to follow. Set them as reminders in your daily routine. Make a list of them. Pin it up on your desk, pin it up on your refrigerator, glance at them, look at them, follow them, discuss them with your friends, family, loved ones. And after some time, you will notice they have become a part of your life. After all, there's nothing more important in our lives except our own happiness. Have you ever thought about those things which actually make you happy? Those things which you enjoy the most? How about making a system when you can practice them or enjoy them on a daily basis? So I'll tell you my list, my daily list of happy moments. My happy moment would be waking up with the sunrise, hearing the birds sing. My happy moment would be to have a cup of tea in my garden in complete peace and solitude. My happy moment would be to take my dog out for a walk in the evening. Hugging my family would bring me ultimate happiness. Being close to them, helping out others, reaching out to people who need my help. There's an endless list. List them all down. Schedule them on your daily and weekly routine. Try to follow them one baby step at a time. And when you start achieving them one by one, notice how small things make a difference in your life. How small things help you recharge your batteries, uplift your mood, and make you feel much more happier. To be happy, self-care comes first. Feed yourself well. Start with an early breakfast. A breakfast which is wholesome, hearty, full of complex carbs and proteins. Like they say, eat like a king. And when you eat like a king, you will notice, and you have a wholesome and hearty breakfast, you will notice that that breakfast gives you a kickstart for the entire day. Your energy levels are in balance. Your mood is soaring high. You have no mood swings, and you will feel the energy inside you. Boost your energy with snacks. Snacking after every 3 to 4 hours is so important. Not only does it give you energy, but it also helps you maintain your sugar levels. Develop self-discipline. Self-discipline and happiness are both interconnected. It is difficult to achieve happiness without discipline. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. Structure your day well. Plan everything a night before. You will notice how this will help decluttering your mind. Look at the universe, how perfectly it flows in a set pattern. Observe the birds. Notice how they wake up with the rising of the sun. Observe the birds. See how they're finishing their tasks even before the sun sets. Nature, as we know, is the best example, the best model before us to follow. Be a master of your body. They say we make our habits and then the habits make us. This is a sad thing, and we eventually become a slave of our own bodies and we surrender. Remember, you are the commander-in-chief. Train your body. Build good habits. Overindulgence in any way is harmful to us. It weakens our bodies, it weakens our minds, and it weakens our souls. Do not overindulge in the following. Do not overindulge in food, in addictions. Addictions, when we talk of, could be your screen time. Even overthinking is an indulgence. Remember, it's important to remember that overindulgence in anything in excess is bad for you. So you have to watch out. Keep a balance and make this a habit. And one more thing, restraint leads you to stability. Stability in turn leads to contentment. Think about it for a moment. Clarify your priorities. So ask yourself, what are the duties and responsibilities which I am accountable for? For me, it would be my own self to start with, my health. For me, it would be my home, my children. For me, it would be my work, my passion. Be clear in what you actually want in life and avoid cloudy thinking. Like I mentioned before, list all your priorities down. Stick to them, try to follow them, give them your time, give them preference over other things. And then you will notice that this becomes a habit which will simplify your life. Finding your purpose in life. Finding your purpose in life is probably the most crucial element towards achieving happiness. Why? Because it directs you towards a clear goal, your mission. And for that you have to explore the inner capabilities, your talents which you were gifted with while you were born. To make it more easier, start surrounding yourself with positive people. Have good mentors in your life who can guide you well, teach you well. Explore your hobbies, your interests, what fascinates you, what internally drives you to do something bigger in life. If you found your purpose in life, then make it a mission. Make it a mission for the rest of your life, and probably then the ups and downs and the challenges in life seem so minuscule and petty. A good way is to post up your mission statement and see it, observe it, try to follow it, and direct all your energies towards attaining it, and then feel the inner satisfaction on a daily basis. A good idea is to post your mission statement somewhere in your house or your workplace. Try to follow it, try to look at it. The more committed you are towards your mission, you will see that the more satisfied you are. Simplify, simplify, simplify. So Pablo Picasso once said, simplify your lives, stress less and live more. You'll notice by just simplifying your lives, you're making it so easier for your inner self. You're improving the quality of your life. So by following simplicity, you're following simplicity in everything, in how you live, what you wear, whom you meet, and what you do. So through simplicity, we're doing less, worrying less, owing less, and pushing ourselves less. And it is then when we restore the actual balance, declutter and organize. This is an important segment of self-care. Many minds, including mine, work in harmony if we have a workplace which is clean, tidy, and minimalistic. So decluttering actually improves your overall well-being. It clears your mind. It helps you sleep better. It creates a happy environment around you, and it also gets you moving. Make internal and external goals. By internal goals, I mean relationships, your well-being, your personal growth. And by external goals, I mean your aspiration for success, wealth, money, fame. And remember, external goals will always bring you a lower satisfaction in life, whereas an internal goals will bring you a higher satisfaction in life. Research says that the more you develop yourself internally, the happier you shall be. So dig out that beautiful person inside you, and that beauty was always there. Smile. Smile is a beautiful thing. Always remember, if you are smiling, it is more likely that you are the one who's feeling more happier. And of course, the people around you also. Let your smile rise from within your heart, and then only you will know the meaning of true happiness. Practice laughter. Practice laughter in those special moments while you're playing with your kids, while you're watching a comedy movie or reading a book, or while being with your friends. Laughter does miracles inside the body. It uplifts your mood. It enhances your immunity. It relaxes your body. It protects your heart. And it releases endorphins, the happy hormones. Stay busy as a bee. Keep yourself busy as a bee. And you know what? You will have less time to be unhappy. Research shows that our brain craves for ordered consciousness, and it is happier when it has challenging tasks to do. Staying busy actually distracts you from depression and lethargy, and especially while you're going through tough times, and we've all seen that during the pandemic, that the more busy you are, the less time you have to worry. Be spiritual. Research says those who are connected to their creator are often more healthier and happier than those who are not. So connect from today. An easy way to connect is probably by going in nature, observing the beauty of the universe, by being alone, probably early in the morning or late at night, or through prayer. Build yourself with belief, faith, love, hope, and peace. Be kind, give, and care. The secret behind true happiness is always to reach out to others, to give, to be kind. That could be through giving a gift to somebody you love, showing you care. It could be a helping hand, a sweet word, or a smile. Take it as an example of a running water or a stream. If it sits motionless, it grows stagnant, it grows dirty. If it flows freely, it remains fresh, clean, and clear. Being kind shows that you care. It does amazing wonders to your body. To be empathetic and have love and care, see everybody as part of one great big family. After all, we're children of one Father, one Mother, God. Love. We all know the importance of love, but the challenge is to love unconditionally, to love without having any expectations for return. Love is like a magical drink. The more freely you pour it out for others, the fuller and more crystal clear your own cup of happiness becomes. Be generous in your love. Give love freely to others. Be generous like nature, which comes in abundance and which shows God's love for us. Be generous like the sun's rays, which shine without even asking us whether we want the warmth of it or not. Increase your sleep and harmonize it with the rising and setting of the sun. Shortage of sleep has a great impact on our happiness index. For most people, sleep is everything. Sleep deprivation leaves you physically exhausted, irritable, moody, sick, and unhappy. Sound sleep makes us more calmer and balanced human beings. Increase your omega-3s. Lack of omega-3 in our diet is one reason for unhappiness. Sea fish, nuts, and seeds are all good sources of happiness. So what does omega-3 actually do in your body? It makes it easier for serotonin, the neurotransmitter responsible for mood, appetite, sleep, libido, to pass through the membranes of our brain cells and finds its way to the cell that is responsible for creating happy feelings. Embrace sunshine. So this is something which most of us forget doing, or we're lazy about getting it. So getting ample sunshine does wonders to your body. It increases your energy, it boosts your immunity, it makes you feel better and sleep better. Just getting 15 minutes of sunshine a day can make you feel so much happier. And guess what? It's free. Do not be afraid of difficulties. See God's blessings in everything, especially the difficult situations. Sometimes painful moments teach us the most and make us stronger. Remember that a person's legs always grow stronger while he is climbing, not by sliding down. Learn from others. The secret towards happiness is actually learning from others. Learning from others' experiences. It is a journey which goes on forever. Be grateful. Did you know that being grateful actually makes it hard for your mind to be unhappy? Ask yourself in the morning or before going to sleep, what are the things my Lord has given to me which I should be thankful for? And then experience the feelings inside. Constant thankfulness redirects your mind towards positivity, and takes you into a mode of everlasting joy. Remember, don't wait for others to make you happy. Happiness is within you. Happiness is like an underground stream which you have to find and dig hard for. These are a few guidelines to bring clarity in your mind of how to achieve happiness in the most simplest of ways. Consistency is the key. They say if you can't be consistent, you can't be anything. So start, plan, analyze, do, keep on doing, and achieve ultimate success. Happiness is now. It isn't tomorrow. It isn't yesterday. It's like a morning glory. Yesterday won't bloom again. Tomorrow hasn't opened yet. Only today's flower can be enjoyed today.
Thank you very much, Samar. She has actually summarized the whole day's session, and she has done it in a very beautiful manner. I would like to just summarize the whole day's session and would like to share few of the points which our honorable speakers has shared here. So Dr. Lianov has conveyed the message of positive psychology and positive emotions, and she wants all of us to be part of her global positive psychology institute movement. She wants all of us to be part of her global movement. So she is the leader of this global positive psychology or emotional health leader at the moment. So you should look after her website and her links. Dr. Robert Lustig has very beautifully defined the difference between pleasure and happiness. And Antonio has bridged the gap between treatment and healing. So he has defined, he has given emphasis on the importance of a good connection between doctor and his patient. And according to his presentation, healing cannot be transferred to an individual if there is no connection between between the metaphysical hearts of the patient and the doctor. He talked about compassion and empathy. So empathy and compassion are the two ingredients which are required to transfer healing from a doctor to a patient. We doctors are just a medium to transfer healing, and we have to activate that phenomena in the patient by convincing them, by talking to them in a very soft manner. Then Dr. Nicole talked about the role of physical activity and happiness, which is a very, very important component of lifestyle medicine. And I think we all should walk at least 20 minutes every day, because 150 minutes per week is the requirement to keep your body going. So during pandemic, I was advising to my patients that they should walk within the house. There is no compulsion that you should go out and do the walk in the open. You can do it inside the house, within the living room, or in the garden, wherever, whichever is easily manageable for you. So exercise should be a very important component of our lifestyle. Then the presentation on music and healing was excellent, and it has proven, and I can share with you my experience of music, that when I was in a medical school, I was not able to memorize my medical books without playing good music. So I always say that I am a musical doctor because I have done my medical school graduation with music, and that connection to music was revived when I was doing my fellowship in integrative medicine, because they taught us about self-care also. So music is extremely important. It varies what type of music you like. Somebody is interested in rock music, classical, Sufi music, even the religious music or religious recitations are good for healing. Then Dr. Shumaila Samad, she has a wonderful presentation on happiness, and she elaborated happiness in a very excellent manner. And then you saw how children express happiness. Lifestyle medicine has taught us that while taking history, we have to ask about a very important component which is called ACE, Adverse Childhood Experiences. So children know how to get you relaxed, but at the same time, children are very, very sensitive to whatever is happening in their environment. So parents should be very careful when they express or when they discuss or when they debate on issues in the family, because child is absorbing all that conversation and giving a new direction to your conversation. When I take history of lifestyle medicine, or during my practice when I'm taking history, when I ask an adult about their childhood experiences, almost everyone has to share with me that they have observed their parental conflicts. And now it has been proven that adults with positive ACE, adults with adverse childhood experiences, are going to suffer from a chronic disease. And unfortunately, in all my cancer patients, I always have found ACE positive. So yes, children are going to give you happiness, but you are responsible to make them happy. If you are not responsible to transform their personalities by nurturing them in a happy environment, the child is going to suffer from ADHD, the child is going to suffer from autism, or the child is going to suffer from growth retardation. Our Prime Minister is worried about stunted growth. What is this stunted growth? Stunted growth is not actually the deficiency of nutrients, it is malabsorption, because gut is second brain. So if the child is not happy, they lose their appetite and absorption of nutrients, it goes down. So we have to be very, very careful, parents and siblings, regarding our children also. Then the Honorable Nafisa Inayatullah Khattak spoke very well about the role and how a female politician handles the political life, and she was a role model for a social work or social connection or volunteering, because that is why her body is being protected. Her body was in a preventive mode, because all her good deeds were giving her a lot of energy to live a healthy life. Fatma Shafiq, she gave us very wise, she created rather very wise demands from us, and probably few senior entrepreneurs spoke what she already mentioned. Like I think Simi Rahil mentioned about the role of parents and teachers in the life of students. Dr. Amreen Heather has beautifully summarized in an artistic manner the role of lifestyle medicine and how important it is to understand. Samia was very good regarding the explanation she shared with us about her studies, and she also talked about her self-care also, because she has healed few of her medical disorders also. You learn from doctors what they say about lifestyle medicine after attaining so much in their professional life. Yashoda presentation was another very enlightening presentation for me, at least, because the role of money in happiness, we do know that money is important for happiness, but we never realized that yes, we should discuss with our patients also how do they manage. Just in a very superficial manner, we can ask our patients that how do they manage their monetary conditions, because it does play a very important role in their life. Aisha Nurani very beautifully expressed the role of Sufism, religion, spirituality, and how she incorporates all this into her architecture and into her projects which she is running. Then Simi Rahil was another excellent speaker. She has experienced her experience. Whatever she spoke from her heart. And there was a lot to learn from Simi Rahil. And Samar Hashmi actually has summarized all the happiness tips which he learned during this process. So I think it's enough for today. Take care. Allah Hafiz and bye.